Hello, my name is Noel, and I'm with McCormick Taylor. We are one of the sub-consultants working for the Crawford County Commissioners on the Mead Avenue Bridge. Tonight's meeting is one of the final meetings for the Mead Avenue Bridge before we finally take the bridge to construction. What we have tonight are a series of boards explaining to you what have happened with the project since the December 2012 public meeting, which was the last public meeting we held on the project. So what we're going to do is walk you through each of the boards, and then at the end we'll end with the construction schedule for getting the bridge built. The first board generally shows what has happened since the last public meeting that we had back in December of 2012. At that meeting, we had mentioned that there were some issues that could potentially crop up that we might have to deal with after that meeting, including some issues related to endangered mussels. There was a mussel species that was on the verge of being listed at the time of that meeting, and if that mussel species had became listed, there were additional work we were going to have to do. That mussel species was listed late in 2000 or early in 2013. I'm sorry, that species was issued or listed. And so there was some stream bank issues we had to deal with the Fish and Wildlife Service, who were had some concerns about how the stream was being graded, because the area where the stream was being graded was one of the areas where this new mussel had a fairly large population. So we had to go back and do some adjustments to the stream bank grading in order to accommodate that new mussel species. We also had to do some coordination with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to be able to get their clearance on mitigation for that mussel species. The mitigation for the mussel species, that species and all the previous species, is translocation, meaning we have to go into the stream and move the species to a new location. You'll see that work starting in September, when you'll see the biologists in the stream moving the mussels. Once we were through those issues related to the mussels, another issue came about related to French Creek. French Creek was listed by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission as a PA water trail. PA water trails are public recreational facilities in the state of Pennsylvania, and they are therefore protected under Section 4F of the U.S. DOT Act of 1966. So what we have to do for those resources is look at how the project is going to use the resource and what type of impact we're going to have. So with the 2013 listing of French Creek as a PA water trail, we had to go back and do another study, a Section 4F evaluation for that creek. So we did that, and once we got clearances on that 4F and the mussel species, we were then able to submit our permits. We need a Chapter 105 waterway obstruction permit from the U.S. Army Corps and the Department of Environmental Protection. That permit is currently pending and should be approved within the next couple of months. We also needed a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit from the County Conservation District. We have that permit. It was just received within the past week or so. And then after that, we will put together the plan, specification, and estimates package for the contractors to bid on. That package has been put together in draft. PennDOT District Office has reviewed it. It will next be reviewed by Central Office at PennDOT and the Federal Highway Administration for approval. The other approvals we need are related to the right-of-way process and utility. We have gotten through most of the right-of-way negotiations, and the county does have possession of the properties that they need to build this bridge. We're just waiting for the final clearance for right-of-way. Utilities, we have gotten agreements with all of the utilities. The last one that is being worked through is the agreement with Penelec, but that is anticipated any day. So we anticipate both of those utility clearances will come this summer, which will then allow us to move forward with the construction of the project. Okay, these next two boards are the engineering plans for the project. We've colored them up to help the public better visualize what we're trying to show on these plans. This one is the Mead Avenue side. The city side, the city of Meadville, is on that side of this board. This is Lincoln Meadows, Bicentennial Park. And what we're showing here is there will be two 11-foot lanes. That's the gray is the 11-foot lanes. There'll be 5-foot shoulders coming across the bridge. And then there will also be a sidewalk, that's this pinkish color on the bridge. Mead Avenue is going to be completely repaved back to the 19 intersection. So once the bridge is constructed, there will be a repaving project at the end to mill and repave all of Mead Avenue. And then out here at the 102 intersection, this is the Casahuego Road side. At 102, there will be a traffic light installed, Hank Street, and we can show you Hank Street a little better on this map. But Hank Street comes in on this side. This is Mead Avenue coming into 102. This is 102 going towards Mercer Street, and this is towards Spring Street. But there will be a traffic light installed with pedestrian push buttons. This darker reddish color are the crosswalks that will be installed for pedestrian use. There will be storm ponds installed on the Vernon Township side, the 102 side, for control of stormwater. Those ponds, once everything is filtered out of those ponds, they will then drain into French Creek on that side of the stream. On 102, heading towards Mercer Street, there will be a left turn lane on 102 for turning on to Mead Avenue. And there will be 2 lanes on Mead Avenue, as I mentioned. This is Mead Avenue going back into the city. So that is, and this here will just be paint. There will not be any medians or any kind of barriers in the roadway. This is just paint shown on here. This board shows a typical section of the proposed new bridge, and basically what it's showing is the difference between the truss structure that's there now and the proposed structure. The truss structure that's there now has all of the support frame above the structure. That's all the metal work you see above the structure is what's holding the bridge up. The new structure, the support will be these beams underneath the structure. That's what is going to support all the weight of the structure. So that's what this typical section is showing, the difference between the truss that has it above and the new structure that has the support underneath the structure. This next board here is a rendering that shows you what the bridge will look like in an artist graphical representation of what the bridge will look like after it's constructed. Up in the top corner here is the existing bridge, the existing truss bridge. The new bridge will be a conventional structure with the beams underneath. We will have period lighting on the structure that matches what is currently into the city of Meadville so that we have a consistent look throughout Mead Avenue. There will be a stone look on the abutments. It won't be actual stone, but it's going to be like a form liner to give a stone look on the abutments. There will be a parapet along the bridge that allows you to see out into the river. And there are also some bump out areas that are designed into the bridge so that people that are walking along the sidewalks will be able to stop, look at the river, or whatever, do some sightseeing as they walk along the new bridge. And in order to construct any project that uses state or federal tax dollars, there's always a series of environmental commitments and mitigation measures that go along with the project that develop out of the different clearances that come as part of the project. This board here is just showing some of the commitments that the county has had to make in order to get this structure built. Some of the commitments relate to French Creek. As I had mentioned, the mussels, they have to do a translocation where they relocate all of the mussels that are currently within the impact area of the bridge. Related to French Creek itself, there are restrictions for when they're allowed to get in the stream and do any work that is required in the water in the stream. So for instance, the pier that is the center of the bridge, there are certain times where they are not allowed to work in French Creek. So they have to design the construction schedule to work around those time frames. There are also mitigation and commitment measures related to the existing bridge itself. And then there are additional measures related to helping to protect the properties that surround the property, related to what the contractor can do with any waste materials, any runoff from the project, Those types of things are what is covered under these different types of waste management and pollution prevention measures. These next three boards show one of the mitigation measures that were required as part of removing the historic Mead Avenue Bridge. This is a kiosk that's going to be constructed. Right now it's designed to use pieces of the existing bridge, some of the historic decorative moldings and different things on the bridge are going to be used as part of this kiosk, and some of the stone from the abutments and piers are planned to be used on this kiosk. The kiosk, once it's constructed, will hold several different panels that show information on the historic Mead Avenue Bridge and also show information on the 4th Ward area of Meadville. There is the potential right now, just recently within the past few weeks, an entity has came forward that is interested in possibly taking the entire bridge as a whole. If that were to happen, the design of this kiosk would need to be modified. It would not be able to use pieces of the bridge because any effort to preserve the bridge as a whole would take place over being able to use pieces of it in a mitigation measure such as this. But once this kiosk was constructed in whatever format it's going to be in, it would be in Bicentennial Park for the public to visit and learn more about the existing steel truss and the 4th Ward area of Meadville. And these next two boards are representations of what the panels will look like on the kiosk once it's constructed. The first one shows what a general board would look like for the bridge itself. It'll contain information on the history of the bridge, historic photos of the bridge, when it was built, when modifications were made. So it's just a general history of how the Mead Avenue Bridge came to be. And then the last board that we have is a board that would represent the 4th Ward area. It has some maps and some information about the 4th Ward. And then this final board shows the schedule for getting this bridge to construction and open to traffic. The plan is right now the construction documents will go out to various contractors for bidding in the summer of 2014, late summer of 2014. The notice to proceed is anticipated to be in fall of 2014, and that's the notice to proceed to start construction. Now, before we can start construction of the project, the existing bridge has to be removed. But in order to remove the existing bridge, the overhead electric lines that are currently on the Meadville side of the bridge that cross over Mead Avenue very close to the edge of the existing bridge, those lines need to be relocated, and Penelec is going to relocate them underground in a duct bank. So once notice to proceed is received, the first thing you will see happening is Penelec getting out there probably very late this year or early next year in the winter of 2015, constructing that duct bank and relocating those overhead lines underground. What that will allow for is for the contractor to move in cranes and the other materials that he needs to remove the existing bridge. So starting in the spring of 2015, the contractor will be working to remove the existing bridge. Once the existing bridge is removed, the new bridge will be constructed, and it's anticipated that by fall of 2015, the new bridge will be constructed. Once the bridge is constructed, there will be a mill and overlay done, as I mentioned, in order to repave all of Mead Avenue from 102 out to SR 19. And then in late fall of 2015, we're anticipating that the bridge will be open to traffic for use. And I want to thank you for listening to our presentation on the Mead Avenue Bridge. We look forward to beginning construction on this project and having this bridge open to traffic for you as soon as we can. Like I said, probably late fall. If you do have any questions on this project, you can feel free to contact me. Again, my name is Dawn Noel, and I am with McCormick Taylor. My email address is C as in cat, NOEL @mtmail.biz, or you can always call me on my cell phone also at 412-722-9306. Thank you.